I wasn't ready. I'm not ready yet. I'm just finishing a stick of beef jerky. Oops. Oh, hey. What's up there, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Have a little pre-stream snack. Welcome to this Sunday special event. You got a full weekend of streams this weekend. Wowie. What's the snack? I just told you it's beef jerky. It's a stick of beef jerky. It's beef in a stick. That is the snack. I can't explain it any other way. I'm back for a third day of Kerbal Space Program 2. Because I'm very annoyed that I couldn't figure out how to do a thing yesterday. So today I'm just going to continuously not figure out how to do the same thing. And hopefully eventually accidentally do it correctly. So that I can rest. The plan is learn how to make a ship dock to another ship. When launch. We may have to do some refitting. Might have to abort that mission and change some constructions, possibly, on the location of all the RCS thrusters. But yeah, Kerbal Space Program 2 has its fair share of problems, but at the end of the day, it's still Kerbal, so I'm having fun just being in space. I really enjoy the synergy between building and getting to spend hours in the VAB making something and then watching your little creation go. Or sometimes watching it get ejected at 350 meters per second into the ocean. Kerbal 2 broken. Yes. Can I stop? No. What is Streamer doing here on a Sunday? Well, we got kind of a late start because there was no plan today. So it's probably just going to be kind of a short, chill space Kerbal stream. This is just bonus stream 2. Because what's ultimately going to happen is, right, we're going to say, oh, we've done all the things that we want to do in Kerbal Space Program 2 for now. Now it's time to just let it simmer in early access until a bunch of new patches come out, right? I just want to get all the fun stuff out that I want to do. And the namely, I just want to figure out how to dock these two ships. I want to figure out how the controls work, and I want to go to Minmus and come back and maybe build. I want to maybe build a space plane. Some things we can do in Kerbal 1. I might go back just because of career mode and science and all that. But I have dreams. I have dreams of a bright future of colonies and sending missions from Kerbin to interstellar places. Also, likewise, finishing The Expanse Season 4 soon. That's relevant. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Trickling in here. So yeah, they're not going to be like an 8-hour stream today. I did actually watch a tutorial on docking, and I watched half of a tutorial on rendezvous. Unfortunately, they were both for Kerbal 1, and I noticed that the UI controls that they were running through are not in Kerbal 2. So, I'm expecting to be banging my head against the wall for a while here at the beginning. I don't think there's any big tutorials for how to do stuff in Kerbal 2 right now. I understand the core concepts. It's just going to be translating that to controls that seem like they don't make any sense. So we're just going to play around. It's going to be some frustration and some trial and error at first. But we'll see how it goes. But welcome, people, Rivers. Hope you had a nice weekend. It's not over yet. Not over yet. I also saw that they said that there were going to be some patches coming in the next couple weeks. I would show you the image, but unfortunately it's saved as a WebP. But they said, let me turn them. Okay, this is going a little ham. They said, we already have plans in place to improve performance, the more egregious bugs, and much more. Keep the feedback coming. We have a patch coming soon. At this moment, we can't give a specific date for the first patch, but it will be in the coming weeks. So we'll be looking forward to that. And take a look at this instead. There you go. Well, that looks familiar, doesn't it? This just makes me think that my design for my rocket is stinky. Their lander looks cooler than mine. I think I'm just using too much fuel. Like I have too large engines and too large fuel tanks. Also, shh. We listened to this yesterday. Jammin'. That's the vibe I want to have in space. Jeb's having so much fun on that. All right. Too much jamming. Where did we leave off? These are 5 minutes apart. Kerbin Orbit Minmus Mission Dockin. Dockin. I'm gonna say the manual save is probably what we want. Are we rescuing the missing Kerbals from yesterday's stream, or did we leave more up there? Well, they're still up there, Arch. And I'm not gonna be too sweaty as far as, like, canonical gameplay. Reloading save so I can learn the controls is sort of what we're doing right now. So I'm not too concerned about. First of all, none of them are even really in danger. They could re-enter right now just fine. We have enough fuel to allow them to re-enter Kerbin if they wanted. So they're not in any danger. The danger is knowledge. Knowledge is dangerous. But yeah, pause the game, because I think this save was made right after we separated our lander from our main body here, which I think we just put way too much fuel in. We didn't need this much, but it's hard to calculate that. And then this bit over here, which I can't switch to anymore, was a detached, empty, large tank and thruster. This is what got us into orbit around Kerbin in the first place. So this is no longer necessary. It's just trailing off. This is space trash now, for all intents and purposes. This is our command pod. The command pod is what we sent the little Kerbals up into. And let me see if I can peek in there. You can see I figured out how to move the camera this way, so that's cool. And I think you can hit home to reset the camera. Very nice. I can use the arrow keys here. There they are. Just having a grand old time. But yeah, this is the main body, and underneath this little section here should be able to just we don't need to detach this yet. But there's a thruster under here, and then we have some fuel, and this is going to push us into a Minmus orbit. So Minmus is the second moon of Kerbin. So there's the moon, or the Mun, if you don't know how to pronounce it, because it's moon. And then way out here is Minmus, so it's much further away, and it's also not on a perfectly equatorial orbit like the moon is, totally flat, but Minmus goes at a more diagonal angle. So the approach can be more challenging, but when you actually get there, it's very small, and the gravity is low, and it's quite easy to land on, if you can get out there. So that's the ultimate goal, but to get there, we need the lander to dock with the main body here on the nose. So there's a docking port here, and a docking port there, and we want to have them connect, okay? We want to have them kiss. And then once they've sealed and locked and we have good connection, then we detach the shroud here. It's going to reveal a thruster, and we push both of them to Minmus. The reason why we're doing it this way is because I had tucked the lander underneath this, because I didn't want it to be on top to start, because we had a launch escape system to protect the Kerbals in case of an emergency. And putting this on top would have thrown everything off by a lot. I didn't tuck this into a payload bay because I'm not that smart, and that's going to be a mission for the future because I want to learn how to use payload bays more efficiently. Can you make moon bases in this game? Not yet, no. This is very bare bones right now in Kerbal Space Program 2. There's just a sandbox building and the Kerbolar system, and there's a lot of things that they're ironing out at the moment, but in the future, however long that takes, space bases and, don't say star bases, but colonies and resource ferrying is going to be something that is long-term a difference between this and the previous game, but it's not even close to that now. I'm early again. You're not early, you're here right on time. Chat, you're right on time. Hello, everybody. Just explaining the mission right now. So the game paused. The problem is, docking is quite easy. All you have to do is have the two things point at each other, have them go towards each other, and then have them touch. Right? That's easy. The problem is, the control scheme for these vessels is very challenging to me. And I have not yet been able to figure out how to get the vessels to translate in the directions that I want them to. I understand all the keys. There's WASD, Q and E, and then we have IJKL, H and N. Those are all the keys that I need to move things, but none of them make any sense. So we're gonna do some troubleshooting and try to get this from spiraling out of control. One thing that I was considering doing was just disabling certain characteristics of the RCS thrusters themselves, i.e. you can right-click on them and go to Advanced Controls on the RV-105s and decide exactly what maneuvers the RCS is capable of performing. So, for example, I don't really need them to help me roll. Just the inline stabilizer is perfectly capable of helping me roll. What other things should I probably take out? Because, like, pitch is obviously something that we need. Yaw is obviously something we need to be able to look up and down, left and right. But port, starboard, dorsal, ventral, fore, and aft. Chat, tell me, like, okay, port, How do I know where port and starboard are on my ship? I think if I change the camera... Like, I know that port is... You're not... Okay. I know which direction port and starboard fore and aft are. I don't know where relativity is to those directions based on the ship. And also the camera doesn't change correctly when the game is paused, which is interesting. Okay. Camera doesn't change here. I think just at least disabling roll is going to be helpful. So why don't we go ahead and disable roll on each set of 4. Okay. And I believe is there like there should be a collapse all button that would be incredibly useful. But I think if we look at these, roll is disabled on all of them. Yeah. Okay. So let's start there. I think we might need to disable more things. Now what I'm going to do is switch over to the lander, which Bob Kerman has already transferred into via an EVA. So Bob's already sitting in here ready to pilot. We're going to do the same thing to this. I'm going to go to advanced controls and disable the ability to roll. We have inline stabilizers with gyros that are capable of helping us roll if we want to. Let's go ahead and open up the panels here as well. So I'm going to unpause momentarily, and that's when chaos is going to begin. I think I'm actually just going to make a save that overwrites this one so I don't have to do those individual commands over again. All right, now it's time to get frustrated. So let's unpause. I don't know why there's a notification box up here. It just is. It's left relative to the nav ball. In this case, you're upside down relative to the planet, so it'd be right if you're looking at the planet. Okay, so here's, I guess, if we go to settings, is the game still paused or unpaused? And go to, I'm gonna pause just in case it's not. If we look at inputs, we can see that in flight, translate X is J and L, translate Y is IK, and translate Z is in H. So we have left and right, up and down, forward, back. Also, chat, this is the part where I ask you, please don't overwhelm me with tagged advice until I ask you specific questions about things, because that is what was causing problems yesterday. Because people are telling me things that I either already know or don't need to know. For example, I am very familiar that there's a difference in normal mode and docking mode. Okay. In this case, the problem is that, yes, as is also being pointed out in the chat, the biggest issue that we're having is we don't have our RCS thrusters balanced with our center of mass, because Kerbal is a game about learning through trial and error, and this is my learning through trial and error. Because we've never attempted docking before, so I've never actually had to rely on good placement of RCS thrusters. I've just been slapping them on and being like, maybe these will help me in case of an emergency. So I just put them wherever and let it ride. So now that I actually need to dock, I need good placement of RCS thrusters. And the RCS thrusters are not balanced with the center of mass. So it's really hard for us to translate. Because in this case, they're too high on the lander. So because they're too high on the lander, when they fire off, they will attempt to spin us because we have a bunch of weight down here. So in this vehicle, we actually can't just go side to side or up and down, which makes things very difficult. Likewise, on this, they're probably slightly more balanced on center of mass, but they're still not balanced. So I'm gonna try something here. We're just gonna unpause. I'm gonna stage to try and at least clean up this bit, which we shouldn't need at all. So let's just go ahead and eject that entire section, which I think might make us a little bit more balanced, because I have no idea how heavy that is. So one thing you're gonna notice is that we're currently drifting away from the piece that we need to not be drifting away from, okay? So one thing I do know how to do is target lock these, and we can at least slow it down to a controllable speed, all right? So step one, I'm gonna click on my dock, my clampotron. I'm gonna say control from here, just to make sure that's where we're controlling from. Then we're gonna look at the vessel behind us, and unfortunately I am not allowed to click on anything for some reason at only 30 odd meters away, so I'm going to try and snipe it at the bottom of the screen. We're going to select the opposite dock as a target. Okay, next, now that I've selected it as a target, we now have the ability to track it on the nav ball. So this icon right here, the one that looks like it's a target, it looks like prograde, but differently. We can go ahead and click that, and then SAS can just roll us over. And it's going to attempt to face the dock. So, two things I want to do here. I want to switch my meters per second, which is relative to our orbit around Kerbin, over not to surface, but to our target. So you can see we're moving about 0.3 meters per second, in this case, away from the target. So we're going to turn SAS off for just keep SAS on for a sec, and then hit RCS. And then I'm just going to tap H a couple times. Okay, and all I'm trying to do is slow down relative to the target. So I don't know if we'll get better than 0.1, because now it's 0.2. All right, we're just going to tap it back. I just want it to be 0.1. I want it to be moving as slow as possible to give us the maximum amount of time. Now, we're going to hit the camera bracket to switch over to the lander. We're going to right-click it just to make sure that we are controlling from this clampotron now. We need to do the same thing. I need to target the dock on the other vessel, set that as a target, turn on SAS, go ahead and align with the target. So at this stage, both vehicles are pointing at each other, but they're still moving, and you can already see that one is drifting up and one is drifting down slightly, right? But we want to set relative target velocity is currently 0, so that's good. That's going to give us some time to figure out how to do what we're trying to do. Now, this is where the issues begin. So I'm just going to make another save. This is just a learning save. Docking tutorial. That way I can at least jump back to this part so we don't have to do it 10 times when I screw it up. Okay, now since we're sort of rotating, if I just move towards, we're gonna end up slingshotting past it. So what we actually have to do is figure out, either on this vehicle or the other vehicle, how to translate so that we're not moving vertical in different directions. Like I'm moving down and they're moving up. So if I can figure out, I think it would be more comfortable. I'm actually wondering, since these are not balanced with the center of mass, right? If I just like turn off SAS, or at least like turn SAS on, but not the target, and I just sort of like point up more, and then throw on RCS thrusters. I wonder if I can account for the spin just by controlling this one. So we've turned off roll control from these RCS thrusters, but it still looks like they're doing roll control. Ah, they are for some reason. Okay, disable that. Unfortunately, SAS is a little buggy, and you can see it's rocking me gently back and forth right now. I'm not touching any controls, but it's just rotating me. It can't quite find equilibrium. And I just want to gingerly float up towards this at 0.4 meters per second. I don't want to throw anything too hard one direction because it's going to be difficult to slow down. So we are just going to gently coast towards it. And it's possible that I can go ahead and turn RCS off. Realign the target. I'm actually quite close to what I'm supposed to be doing. So what I'm supposed to be doing is making my prograde icon down here on the nav ball line up with my target. So I'm curious if I experiment with this a little more. Like, let's hit H. I need to turn RCS on. Let's hit H. Look at the little green icon of prograde when I tap H. So here's another one. There's another one. Okay, see, I'm gonna slow down a little bit. Go ahead and hit in because we're moving too fast relative to the target. And I'm off to the right just a bit. Okay. So let's go ahead and target lock. And what I want to do, I don't think this one is locked on still. It doesn't look like it's facing me anymore. So what I want to do is switch over. Yeah, it looks like it has stopped aligning. God, they're so close. They're so close. They might be moving slow enough that we can just gently move in without donutting. They're so close, chat. Let me stop aligning to target. I'm gonna manually move this to the side and try and account for... What is SAS doing? Okay. I'm gonna hit S. I can see prograde moving where it's supposed to go. The green icon is so close. But I'm also getting way too close to the target. We're like 8 meters away. Five meters away. Okay, 0.1 meters per second. Let me just line it back up with itself. And I'm just gonna go in. I'm just going in. .3 meters per second. Yeah, we did it. All right. Instantly solved. We had so much trouble with that yesterday. And that is my first docking maneuver in Kerbal Space Program. GG. Streamer did his homework, apparently. It was still not perfect. It was still not perfect. We still had some movement relative to each other. But a successful docking maneuver is still successful. Now, in the future, when I try and make a ship that intends to pull an orbital docking maneuver like this, I will account for the center of mass when placing my RCS thrusters, and that will make things a lot easier because I sort of just cheated and didn't have to learn how to translate port or starboard or dorsal or ventral at all. And I just accounted for the rotation by manually turning the lander and then boosting in the direction away from the direction we were rotating. Okay, so we had to put a little spit shine, but it worked. It worked. So now we can close, and now we can start phase 2. Now we get to start phase 2. Actually sending this to Minmus. Now, technically, the hardest part is yet to come, because we're going to Minmus, and I'm sure we have plenty of fuel for this. We're gonna use this body and this Poodle engine to get us into Minmus orbit and Minmus capture. And then, once we're there, we're gonna drop off, we're gonna undock the lander. The lander's gonna land on Minmus, and then the hardest part is gonna be, we have to rendezvous by lifting off again with the lander, and rendezvous with the main body here, and then dock again. So that's gonna be the actual final test. But this is still a huge step in the right direction, because for the life of me, I could not get that to work yesterday because brain was just hurting. So that feels good. That's a nice start to the stream. See, this is an auspicious start to the stream, because now I know what that means. And I'm also glad that I think the dock maneuver did not bug the game yet. Knock on wood. Let's actually make a pause. Let's make a save. And let's do successful Kerbin docking. I'm allergic to successful Kerbin docking. All right, let me grab the allergy medicine while you enjoy the view. Okay. Ah, that feels good. Chat, today's a nice day, you know? Today's a good day. Let's go ahead and stabilize this. No need for it to continue to rotate. It do still seem to be rotating. I guess that it's just fighting to stop without using any RCS. It is a pretty game. It is a pretty game. And I'm very excited for the future. Kerbal 2. The hard part is going to be waiting. Because might have to wait a while. Anyways, thanks for the GGs, everybody. Next is plotting a course to Minmus. I'm hoping that everything works from that point on. Okay, we can go ahead and remove stage 4, unnecessary. What we need to do is make sure that these Thud liquid engines are not enabled. Okay, that's very important, actually. We need to shut those down. Okay. We don't want the thuds firing back against us. That would be... What is going on with the staging over here?
Snapped.
What is this huge vertical blue? This is the thing that I want to be on right now. The poodle. There we go. I'll just do that manually because I don't trust the staging over here. I don't buy it for a second. Just no push the space bar. Okay, so Poodle should be active. Let's double check that the thuds are not active. Why does it still say deactivate? I will simply deactivate them a second time. This is why we double check. Okay. Can I just create a separate stage and then just drag the other liquid engines up there? Okay, the thud should be off. Chat, is all the fuel gone? Where's the fuel? Why does it say I have 0 tons of fuel? Why is the fuel always gone? Also, thanks for the subs. I do appreciate it. The Dark says streamer can't resist the call of the Kerb. I really do love Kerbal Space Program, and I should have had more hours in Kerbal 1 over the years than I did. 100 hours wasn't enough, considering how long the game's been out. But thanks again to Dark for 24 months sub. Appreciate the 2 years. War of the Worlds gifted a sub to Subdog, who's back for a 43rd month. Thanks for the gifts of War of the Worlds. J. Micah says subs. The final frontier. Thanks for 7-0. Feng Shui Gorilla says this is Major Tim to ground control. Major Tim, what happened to you? Jam and Ben also, thanks for the 2 subs in 1 for a 38th month. And supporting the stream. What up? Okay. Why can't I check any of these? This says I have 1800 meters per second delta V though here. I'm gonna turn RCS on and just stabilize this. Where are you going? What are you doing, dude? Where is it rotating? I just have this on, like, stability lock. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You might need to reset where control is. So if I like right click from here and do control from, am I supposed to control from the gumball? Like, okay, in this case, my command pod, I guess I should say. Okay. Let's try and plot a course to Minmus. I really wish my keyboard was lit up right now. I do wish my keyboard was lit up. Does anyone know how to hide debris on the map view? It's fine. We'll be fine. Okay. Minmus is my target. Now that Minmus is my target, chat, should we do this the legit way? And do a burn to create an orbital pattern that mirrors that of Minmus? Or should we just plot a course at the ascending and descending node and then see if it happens to line up? So we're looking at one of the decent... Okay, so the purpose of this is that if you look out, Minmus's orbit has a connection point to our orbit at the yellow line. If we were to do it off, you can sort of see This is the moon's orbit for reference. If we try and... there's too many lines in the background for me to display. It's basically the Minmus orbit's at a weird tilt. It's at a diagonal. So if we go to the ascending, descending nodes here, after setting it as a target, we might have a random intercept course without even having to alter our orbital pattern at all. It's unlikely, but possible. So Minmus is currently over there. We can see that there are the target's closest approaches. I'm still learning how to use this UI. It still is odd to me. Also, trying to click and drag the maneuver node that I just set up is not... There we go. It wouldn't let me do it. Oh, we actually do have an intercept right there, don't we? These icons are so bouncy that I don't know what those mean. They're jockeying for position over here. This is supposed to make things more intelligible, but for me, I'm just like, what? So, here I think is the encounter, and then here is leaving. This is encountering Minmus, and this is leaving Minmus. But do you see how, like, much higher it's gonna be than us? It's gonna be way up there. So I wonder if we wanted to raise it up, which way do we burn? Chat, what do the red icons mean? I'm just gonna be real. Triangle with the lines. I need to start learning this stuff. I can't just pretend that I know it. Red is dead. I don't think that's true in this case. Normal and anti-normal. Okay, now what does normal and anti-normal mean? Like me versus you? Like I'm normal, you're anti-normal? Is that... Benito, are you just saying normal, anti-normal because everyone else did? I'm kind of just want to see what happens. I'm going to cancel this maneuver node. Normal is perpendicular of the movement in physics. But yeah, I find the maneuver nodes in general just significantly harder to use. So the blue ones are what? All I know is prograde, retrograde. I'm just being real. I can pretend to know all this stuff, or I can just admit that I have no clue. Okay, this is rotating. Yeah, that makes sense. This is like rotating our orbit. Not what I want, but those are the radials, yeah. Okay. So if I wanted to try and actually set up a proper orbit here, I can burn prograde, but I also need to burn either normal or anti-normal to change the angle, yes? Okay, that's the wrong way. And the way that we know that this is working is because we can watch the degrees. In this case, negative 5.9 and positive 5.9. So you'll notice that when I'm burning normal, those numbers are going down, so like 5.6, 5.5, 5.4, and because I set min-miss as a target, that is why we have those numbers on the screen. So it's comparing those numbers to min-miss orbit. So you'll notice that they are starting to rotate. When they have fully rotated, similar to how apoapsis and periapsis rotates, that's getting closer and closer to 0. 0 would be a perfect match. We would have made our orbit look exactly like min-miss orbit. Except in this case, they have gone back up to 4, 3, 2, 1. So does it actually need to stop at 0, or do I stop at... Because we can't get to 0, right? We can get to 1.0. Wait. Yeah, we can get to like 0.8 in this case. So that's just because we need to change the location of the burn. But I thought that I started this burn at the correct node. Did I not? No. Okay, I guess I thought normal anti-normal was... Oh, it's... The ascending descending node is changing around here. Why is it doing the... So if I just shift it along, there's a 0.1 right there. Why is it moving? I'm not... Oh, because I'm moving in orbit? So, is there a system like in Kerbal 1 when you have a maneuver node and then the thingies in the bottom left and then you can just click on the buttons for prograde, retrograde, normal, anti-normal, and then accelerate the simulation of time? Does that exist in Kerbal 2? Because I don't see anything like that. So the tutorial that I watched was completely in vain. Also, there's just too many damn lines of all the debris. The debris just has like perfect gray lines that overwrite your orbit for some godforsaken reason. I like seeing the debris in orbit, but I'm just gonna destroy it so that I can make these maneuvers. I'm scared it's gonna delete my craft because somebody in chat did that when they can't zoom the map in any more than this. In Kerbal 1, they hide the debris orbit until you hover over them. Not anymore. Not anymore. All right. So, what if we just go all the way around to the ascending node? Well, min-miss is on this, is rotating this way, so we kind of need to do it on the descending node. All right, one more time. Burn prograde. Burn normal. Get the number as low as it'll go. All right, now it's going back up. And then if I send us all the way out, what if I just don't burn prograde at all? Sorry, I'm gonna do this one more time. Just click on the descending node, create a plan, just forget about prograde, retrograde for now. Let's just do a normal burn and try and correct our orbit. So I can get it down to 0.2. So, which way do I need to move? There we go, hold on. God, it's so slippery. I need to pause the game. Chad, if you pause the game, you're not allowed to manipulate the maneuver nodes. Why? But if you do try to manipulate the maneuver nodes while you're in orbit, it literally slides you around because you're moving. All right, I got 0 on one side and 0 on the other side. I just had to wing it. We got 0, 0. So let's just start there. It's only a 200 delta V burn, and we have 1800 delta V. So we need to wait 43 minutes until burn time. I accidentally hit a button that pauses the game. What, chat, what is... There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, let's make another save. Wait, let's pause the game. Pause the game and then make a save. Just in case that matters. Any save will do. You pause the game so you can go to the bathroom and then come back. You don't do anything while it's paused. That would be cheating. Just kidding. Okay, those of you that joined late, the first 30 minutes or so was spent with a successful docking maneuver. My first ever docking maneuver in Kerbal Space Program, as it happens. I have no idea what SAS is doing right now. It's supposed to just be holding still. I'm wondering if these two vehicles SAS are fighting each other, and we need to turn SAS, or the reaction wheel, off on the tuna can. It might actually be fighting us back. Where are you going? Okay. What if I just said point towards the maneuver? It's just spinning and doing a wonderful dance. I'm not pushing any of the keys. Let's try turning RCS on. Okay, one thing we... SAS, please. Chat, none of my RCS thrusters are firing here for some reason. Have you noticed that? I did control from here, but none of the RCS on this is firing. It says thrust enabled. Is it a problem, I did disable roll control. I'll turn them back on now. But that doesn't explain why, now only some of them are firing. Jesus, we're starting to spin more. I shouldn't have to do all of these individually because they're linked. Also, having to click them while they're rotating is just comical. Oh my god. Okay, SAS, what the hell are you doing, dude? This can't be my fault. I'll do it myself. Just hold on. Why is SAS trying to murder us? And why are these all disconnected now? Okay. I just turned them all on. Let's try and slow this bad boy down. Ooh, dude, are they sharing monopropellant? Because this one's firing off too. And I don't want this one to fire because I need that monopropellant for later. In fact, we're wasting a ton of monopropellant on this nonsense. Some of them are still not firing. It's like resetting my controls. You just saw me scroll down through all of them, right? Trying to do it myself. I'm just like experimenting with how... Excuse me. No. That was the wrong way. Doesn't help that it's rotating. Okay, that was just a big waste of half of our monopropellant for no reason. Now I'm gonna turn RCS off. We're controlling from here. We're gonna turn SAS on. Set the maneuver node to 0.2. Is it just gonna start spinning again? Alright, we're probably gonna have to reload the save and figure out what the hell is going on. It's doing it. It's doing it again. I know! At this point, I'm just gonna see what happens, alright? I'm in locked mode, so it should be trying to stop what it's doing right now. I knew this wasn't gonna be easy, but I thought that the harder part was behind us. We'll try reloading in a moment. It's creating artificial gravity. It's like a dough roller. It can't sustain this forever. It's wobbling. SAS has lost its damn mind! Dancing with the Stars, nice. Well, I guess I'm gonna try and reload. I was waiting to see if we had a critical malfunction, but it's only just now starting to warble. Chat, what if it's just trying to... what if we're just trying to replicate the wingnut experiment, but with an entire spaceship? And we're trying to see if it'll flip end over end. God, Bill and Bob are having a great time up there, yeah. What if I give them RCS? Now they've grown too powerful. The game like instantly starts lagging when you put thrusters into the mix. If you take thrusters out, it's like, oh wow, frames. Anyway, I'm gonna try just reloading now. Was it this one? Okay, so once again, I will remind you that torque has been disabled. It was disabled in the... before we reloaded the save, I mean. Torque is disabled. There is no reaction wheel in this section. Okay? So we already took care of that. We have right-clicked the command pod and confirmed that we are controlling from the command pod. So the only thing that should be firing off is the reaction wheels present on this stage of the ship. All right? So we hit SAS on and just lock. And see what happens. I'm not touching any controls except the camera. I have not articulated a single control. This is stabilizers only. I think it's just gonna... I think it's just... It just sort of points to 315 and then goes. I'm hitting E, but I don't know if I'm accelerating it or slowing it down. Now I'm gonna try Q. Is Q slowing it down? Why is Q counter-rotating that the way that it is? Let's rotate it just a bit. All right, now slow down the rotation. What happens? Okay, so even though torque is disabled in the reaction wheel, what if we just switch over? What if we just control from here in the tuna can and turn SAS on, turn SAS off, and then control from here and turn SAS on? What happens? Start spinning again. I think it's accelerating. Okay, now this is all just me at the moment. Trying to get things to stop wiggling so damn much. Okay, slow it down just a little. There we go. There we go. Okay. Whew. New problems to solve. I believe the game is just bugged. Now the question is, can we override that bug? There are a number of people in chat who are very confused, and it's really hard to correct all of you. So you just have to trust me when I say that the game is bugged right now, okay? The other ship being on here doesn't matter. They're not two ships, this is a single ship as far as the game is concerned. That is why you have the ability to right-click parts and tell the game where you would like to control from. So we're controlling from the correct location. The other location has no stabilizers turned on right now. There are not two stabilizers fighting, and even if both stabilizers were turned on, they would be considered one ship, and SAS would be able to use both stabilizers. Stabilizers don't have an inherent relativity or orientation relativity. Even if torque was engaged on this ship, it would be able to use both of them intelligently with the same goal in mind. That is what SAS does. So, what I'm thinking is, if I can get this to hold still, I hope Kerbal 2 runs well on Steam Deck, Lovemaker. I'm gonna need you to go into a coma for 5 years, and then wake up, okay? Thank you. Anyway, let's, and then buy a new Steam Deck. Okay. What I want to do is try and get this nav ball in an orientation that makes any sense to me. So I'm going to rotate this around. Okay. And now we're gonna nose down just a little bit. I'm just watching the nav ball here. I think I'm upside. Am I upside down? Let's just flip around. Okay, hold on, chat. We have a lot of battery, plenty of batteries, so... Can you make the spaceship spin fast? I could. But I'm not going to. Am I... Okay, I'm gonna ask a question, and... Why do all of my controls feel reversed right now? Like, Q and E are rotating differently than I think they should relative to the nav ball. S is still pushing me up the way that I want to. But if I want to stop moving left, I have to hold left. But W and S are inverted the way that they're supposed to be, where W noses me down. Like, all of the controls are different than what I think they should be. Is there an up or down in space? There's an up or down on the nav ball. See how the numbers are upside down? I'm just looking at the nav ball. So if I want to stop spinning the nav ball, we're spinning left, we're rolling left, and I have to hold Q, which is left, to stop rolling left, which is very odd. And then if I want to stop rolling right, the same is true. I have to hold right to stop rolling right, which is counterintuitive. So now we've stopped rolling. Now if I want to stop yawing to the right, I have to also hold right. Which, right is actually pushing me down. So everything is backwards. Controls getting inverted might be what causes SAS spinny bug as well, yeah. I think that's probably the case. What I was trying to do was manually bring the ship to a relative stop so that I could undock the ship and then see what they do when they're undocked from each other. But I'm having difficulties even just doing things like stopping the ship from moving, only watching the nav ball here. So, like, I'd love to bring it even with the horizon line right there. But holding W is... I'm just holding W right now to see what it does. It's not moving me up or down the way that I think it should. Okay. The problem with undocking to try to fix this is it was so damn hard to dock in the first place that I don't think I can do it again while it's rotating like this. So that's why I'm trying to stop it from rotating, but all the controls are messed up. So now I'm just watching the ship instead of the nav ball, just to see what each control does, and it's just a huge pain in the ass. Because, yeah, if I undock, we're just both going to be spinning. Undock and then immediately hold H, and it should just redock. Okay, so what if we do control from here? Control from tuna can. Undock and then hold H. Oh shit. I need RCS. It's already off. Got it. Okay, we're back again. Just a casual little dock undock. No big deal. Now let's hit SAS and see what happens. I'm not gonna touch any controls. Oh wait, hold on. I do need to control from here first. Okay, control from the main command pod. Then hit SAS, and then see what happens. Okay, now I'm not touching any controls. Just waiting to see what it does. It's moving somewhere. It shouldn't be moving. It's supposed to stop moving. That's the entire point. It moved the propeller. Yes, the propellers. Famously how spaceships get into orbit. Vroom, 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 vroom. Well, it's not going into a hard spin, but it's also not stopping. I'm gonna turn our RCS on and just see what it does. Not touching any controls. Goodbye, monopropellant. Is it actually stabilizing now? Sort of. Okay, but I turn RCS off and then it starts rotating. Not as bad, but it's still it's still rotating. Oh, chat. I don't need the cargo door bay to open, but I did put a solar panel perfectly on it. Also, yeah, it's just going to start spinning again. Here it goes. How about prograde, retrograde? No, it doesn't matter. Back we go. I could try, yeah, I think we should try restarting the whole game. I think that's actually a good idea. I think that's a solid idea. What's up, Bonjay? Thanks for 2 years of tier 2 sub. Well, thanks for the tier 2 sub and 2 years. How about both those things? But thanks again, Anjay, for the 24 months. And No Hit Kill, welcome back for 39. We're getting the game back up. Welcome, Shaq Genie. Thanks for priming, Shaq Genie. Zaya says, oh, look, a sub. Indeed, indeed. That is what I found. Hello, Brimo. We're spinning uncontrollably in this game. But that is why the save game is called Doing Our Best. Just like Kerbal Space Program 2 is just doing its best. Okay, I'm just happy that we even successfully docked, because that was the big hurdle to overcome yesterday. And that was definitely a skill issue. This is not a skill issue, so it feels less bad. Let's do two things. We want to control from the Mark 1-3 gumball. It's possible that this is okay. Let's do a test. Let's try flipping prograde and see what it does. I mean, this feels way better. A full game restart may have been the answer, chat. Something was screwy. Because, yeah, we are lined up perfectly with prograde on the nav ball. Look at that wiggle. Look at that wiggle. Okay, we can resume playing the game now. Hallelujah. Perfectly stable. Not a skill issue. Chat wins an argument yet again. I think you have a fundamental misunderstanding of what constitutes an argument. So we're gonna change, let SAS take over and hit the maneuver node. So this is the save timeline where we still have a burn, presuming that we have fuel. We're gonna find out if we have fuel. Chat, generally speaking, are you supposed to tuck your solar panels in for burns or no? Imagine being in the ISS and ground control suggests unplugging it and plugging it back in for some huge issue with SAS. Alright, we're gonna do a little time warping. And we're trying to set, basically stay in orbit of Kerbin, but if we have fuel, if it hasn't leaked out into nothingness, then we should be, that looks cool. It takes 2 screenshots because the arrow GUI pops up when I don't want it to, but I also want to remember my first dock maneuver. Looks cool. What was I saying? I don't remember. Oh, yeah, whether we have fuel or not. We're trying to change our orbit to mimic the orbit of Minmus. Doesn't matter in Kerbal. In real life, there's definitely consideration on the loads of solar panels during burns. Orion has to be careful during the ICPS burns. Interesting. Okay, we need to double check that the thuds are off. Expect a one-time speed. Thud, why are you active? What is happening on staging again? I only want this one rocket down here to be online, please. I keep having to click the deactivate buttons, and they automatically reactivate themselves somehow. Now they should actually be off. But it likes to throw them into the active stage. Even though I don't want them to be in the active stage. There's cameras on the tips of the solar panels. This is pretty sweet. Alright, this is only a 200 Delta V burn. Should be pretty easy. The Poodle can handle that nicely. Once we get closer to in position, I'm going to pause and make another save, just to make sure this doesn't go belly up again, since we've been encountering quite a few bugs. Even in just a short amount of time. But for the moment, I just want to enjoy the sights and sounds of space. Hello, Chargoth Mod Squad. What's up, dude? How's it going? Okay, we're at 10 times speed right now. Going about 1900 meters per second, a little more. Got full battery for electric charge. Monopropellant tanks are mostly full. I don't like that you can just see debris from 20 kilometers away. I don't need to know where that is, you know? And around we go. So we passed the maneuver node up the first time. That's why we basically had to take a round trip. Debris, not my problem. Listen, there's nobody's even putting satellites into space over Kerbin except us. We have so much room, you know? Before that becomes an actual problem. In how many satellites are in space? We have over 8,261 as of January 2022, okay? It's gonna be a long time before I put 9,000 satellites into space in Kerbin. So they're good. We got plenty of room. Space is big. Think about how circumference works, chat. You know how big the Earth is? The further up you go from that, you're getting exponentially more space. It's like ordering a pizza, all right? Ordering an Earth-sized pizza, that's like a medium pizza. You should never order that. You should always order a large because the price ratio to the circumference ratio is so much better. Always order large pizzas. So when you're like 80 to 100,000 meters above Earth's surface, that's the size pizza you want. Chat, okay, listen. So I see some question marks in the chat. If you get an 8-inch pizza, and you get a 16-inch pizza, okay? Put them side by side. You'd be like, oh, the 16-inch pizza is twice as large as the 8-inch pizza. But you would be wrong, because you don't understand how circumference works. A 16-inch pizza is actually 4 times as much pizza as an 8-inch pizza. What if they price the pizza based on circumference? They don't. That's how they get you. You order like 3 mediums instead of a couple larges. You could have gotten so much more pizza for less price. Alright, we're like 8 minutes out. We're getting close. Pizza math Jeffs have come out of the woodwork. What's funny is they're arguing with each other. I don't even have to. Because, like, Chad's like, oh, it's area, not diameter. You absolute buffoon, you haven't even considered the height of the pizza and how much extra food is thin crust versus hand tossed versus deep dish, you absolute fool. Pizza Z levels. Pizza sphere. Imagine not mathematically optimizing your pizza. Stuffed crust is a volume multiplier. Okay, in the a moment or two is going to be the moment of truth. We have to figure out whether we actually have fuel or whether the game is lying to us about how much fuel we do or don't have. Okay, and let's slow it down and do some final checks. The thuds are definitely deactivated, and the poodle is definitely activated. So whether we have fuel or not, or if the UI is bugged as well, is about to be determined. We got burn in 8 seconds. There's only a 200 Delta V burn, so I'm just going to go with the timer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, burn. Why is it bonking like that? Why is it's spinning? Do we have roll control reestablished? Why is it spinning? SAS, why are you spinning? Why are the thuds firing? Dude, literally everything that could go wrong there went wrong. I have already manually deactivated all the thuds, and they reactivated themselves. And we have fuel. Yep, all thuds reactivated. Literally nothing worked in the UI. That is correct. I was supposed to save before this. This is from like a minute ago, but this is like mid... Not a single UI element worked there, no. And now Cox is taking my internet down. Something happens in Kerbal when I reload the game. Something happens that affects my internet. Because this happens when I reload all the time. Chat, are the Kerbal devs commandeering my internet service provider for mining ops when I reload? Are we in an infinite loading crash loop that I need to restart the game for? Never leaving Eve. Never leaving this screen. I'm just gonna close it out. The only thing I can think of is, yeah, actually no. I was gonna see if it was doing like a cloud update when we reload and that was somehow sucking all the internet dry. Gonna restart the game. I think that load was a load during a burn, which is probably part of the issue, but that was just the autosave. It's not that big of a deal. I can just... What is this save? Okay, now it's going. This is not the autosave we wanted to load, is it? Houston, we have so many problems. Houston, we have infinite problems. Okay, here's my idea. My idea is just throttle up the slightest amount. And I think throttling up will cause collision physics to re-enable for these because they started bouncing weirdly, and then the UI updated. Okay, so I'm just gonna throttle up the tiniest amount. Like that was just one tap shift and then hit X and then boom, we have fuel. Okay, if we have fuel, did you guys happen to see if the thuds were firing off too? Oh, they are. Okay, they are. So I'm gonna have to change the maneuver node now because I just changed my orbit, but that's fine. I'm more interested in solving this issue of all thrusters firing simultaneously. And then what the hell is that? Okay. Can you guys go away? Not you, chat. Now every time I click deactivate, it reactivates them. Okay, I just need the thuds to go to another stage. Just up and away. Okay, dear Lord. Now I'm gonna try again. There's still fire! Even after being manually turned off multiple times. How do you disable them? I don't understand. off, 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 off. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna leave the parts manager up, off. I'm gonna hit shift, and then I'm gonna hit X to cut thrust. Okay, now they're off. What if I close this menu? Shift. Now they're off. Okay, so we just have to leave this funky UI the way that it is. If you move them, they automatically turn back on. It must be a UI bug where when you move them, they reactivate. All right, cancel the. Now I gotta make another node. Pew. Minmus, set target. I'm gonna go to the descending node, create a maneuver. We are going to burn normal to try to bring our orbit angle in line with Minmus. They swing around. We need to get it down as low as it'll go to like 0.2, and then we need to move the maneuver until they say 0. Anywhere along there is fine. 0, 0. Check, check. All right, 38 minutes till node time. Pew. Now, we're gonna try and align with the maneuver node, if SAS works now. We're still not sure if SAS works, but I think it is on this version of events. Hello, Just Mojo says 43 months. Pog, hi, Etal in chat. Can't wait for TwitchCon Las Vegas. Thanks for the 52 months, and appreciate the resub. Hopefully TwitchCon is cool. Everybody's just gonna be out gambling. Nano Wiener, Coggin in chat for 22 months. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for the Prime. Okay, SAS seems to be working. We have a node, and we're now going to make a little time lapse. And then we're gonna save. Before node time, so we have plenty of time to fix things if it doesn't work. Don't want to neum too fast. All right, right around here is where I am gonna hit the pause button. Boop. Make a manual save. Prepare for orbit match with Minmus. Okay. Unpause. Now, I'm not even gonna check. Checking the thuds being on or off didn't seem to do much at all. So I think we just fire it and hope for the best. This time I'm gonna throttle up slowly instead of a max burn, just because there's some weird bounce between the docking port, which I feel like shouldn't be a thing. Hello, Golden Fishy. 59 months, one more for the big 60. Thanks for the countless hours of content. Hey, Golden Fishy. We've been doing some troubleshooting today, but we solved the docking issue from yesterday. I was determined to come back and right that because I did not like admitting defeat last night. So we actually nailed that on the first try, so that was fun. And now the game has been trying as hard as it can to keep us from doing anything else. All right, 199, about 200 Delta V. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, burn. So far, so good. No thuds. Just poodle. Says we have 15 seconds of burn. I'm just going to choose to believe it this time. Because this is an incredibly fuel-efficient engine back here for good vacuum burns. So I'm just going to... This is typically inaccurate for the things that I want to use it for, but we're just going to use it for this and should be fine. 2, 1... A little bouncy, but let's go ahead and check. Yep, it missed by 0.2. Because we didn't start the burn early enough, which is not my fault. That is just a UI bug, because it tells you when to burn, and didn't quite get it. We need to burn a little earlier. Regardless, we can go ahead and, but we'll be close enough. We'll be close enough. 0.2 degrees. We want to burn prograde right here. That means we want to burn to accelerate, in this case, in the direction that we're currently orbiting. Because we want to escape from Kerbin's gravity and acquire a capture that is telling us that we have an intercept with the moon if we want, but we want to go past the moon. And out that furthest white ring is the orbit of Minmus. So, there will be, an encounter with Minmus. How does this work? This is going to be our best bet, somewhere right in there. You can see those little blue, light blue icons. Yeah, I'm just going to go right in there. I think that'll be perfect. So we're going to have encounter here and then escape there. And then we're going to come back around to Kerbin. But we want to actually try and land and create an orbit around Minmus. So we had about 39 minutes. We need to do another pass around Kerbin, another orbit. So now that we've done that, I'm just going to save this at every stage. Because I don't trust it. Ow. I wonder if your burns are draining the land or fuel tank. That's a bug I've run into. If it has legs attached, it drains fuel, even if it shouldn't. Yeah, I've heard of that too. And if it does, it does. There's not much I can do about it. At this point, I just want to go. We've been held back by enough issues. But thanks again, Just Mojo and Golden Fishy for the subs. People arrive. Space! Space is trying to keep us out. But yeah, if there is a fuel drain issue, somehow the fuel in this tank is draining into this tank for the Poodle engines, then that's just gonna be tough. Because I don't have any remedy for that. How do you check the resource manager for a specific part? The waffle button? This button? So this is the X208. X208 still has full liquid fuel, but used oxidizer when we were turning it on and off, right? So far, it's not draining. I've heard the landing gear that is the issue is the medium-sized landing gear. Which I don't think that this is. I think this is, like, small landing gear, possibly. Okay, we might be well on our way to Minmus, chat, soon. We got plenty of fuel in the tank to get us there. This is going to be an almost 800 Delta V burn. We have 2,500 Delta V in this section. Probably too big. Probably could have taken this small chunk out and just had the big tank and been perfectly fine. Chat, is today Last of Us Day? Oh, yeah. It's Last of Us Day.